Hey, everybody, this is the Playful Humans podcast. I'm your host, Mike Montague, and my guest this week is David Fishof, the founder of the Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp. You can find them at rockcamp.com, but he is also has the new movie about the whole story you can find at rockcampthemovie.com. You can get it for about $4 and you will have a great time watching the story of Rock Camp. Anywhere you watch movies online these days, go find it. Rock Camp the movie, and you can find Playful Humans at playfulhumans.com. Rediscover the power of play for adults. Get yourself out of the burned out and bored and into the energized and engaged. Here we go. Don't wait for tomorrow. This is as close as I get to rock and roll, David. I play somebody else's.
Love it.
And an occasional woohoo. There we go. Now, David, I know you grew up in the Catskills. You love stand-up comedy. We like to start with a joke of the week here. The joke of the week is brought to you by psychiatrists. Even during COVID, when somebody asks me if I'm going to see anyone, I automatically assume they're talking about a psychiatrist. Psychiatrist. Now, a woman walks into the bar and asks the bartender for a double entendre, so he gives it to her. There you go. That's our joke of the week.
Well, I got to tell you something. This is great because, I'm a Catskill guy, and I'm a Catskill guy. So there's nothing better than being a joke, doing a joke of the week. But you know what's interesting? My upcoming fantasy camp is I'm going to do a comedy fantasy camp. So that's what I'm looking forward to doing. Yeah,
I want to do one of those as well. Now, I have always dreamed of being a rock and roller, but I feel like I don't even have the skills to go to your rock camp. So we'll address that here in a second.
No, you can sing
comedy,
a song.
I want to learn how to do for sure. I feel like every comedian wants to be a rock star, but also I hosted karaoke for 12 years. So
okay, there it is.
I have done a lot of fake pretending, rocking and rolling as well. But tell me the whole thing. So what we like to talk about here on this podcast is how people play for a living. So did you ever have like an accounting job or a cubicle job or anything, and you said, I want to start a rock and roll camp? Or have you always been playing since the time you got out of school?
I've been playing ever since I got out of school. I wanted to be a ball player. I couldn't be a ball player. I wanted to be a comedian. Couldn't be a comedian. So I became a player agent, and I became a sports agent, so I wanted to do that. And then I did that for many years. It was great. And then I wanted to be a rock star and really, just to get girls, I wanted to be able to play a guitar. My brother was his drummer and I idolized him, and he had a rock band. So I couldn't be in a band. So my dad said, why don't you represent the band and you can book 6 bands a night. So that's what I did. And from there, I really moved into the music business. So I think that I think what you get is I am a playful human being. So that's really what my life's about.
Yeah, I think it is. It's so cool for me to hear somebody that has been doing it and at the highest levels. I think a lot of people don't understand that there is also a middle class of entertaining and performer too, right? Nobody wants to be a starving artist. Nobody wants to be a failed musician, playing in a bar and not, making money. But there is also a way to make money in these things without being the people that you work with, the ultimate mega rock stars that have, platinum records and stuff too. There is an in-between where you can make a really good life for yourself playing for a living. Would you agree?
Yeah, totally. I mean, the people come to my camp, they join tribute bands. They write songs, they play bar mitzvahs, they play weddings. They've never been in a band before. And all of a sudden today you can go to any pub and say, hey, charge $10 at the door. I'll invite 100 of my friends. And then the pub will say, good, you keep the $1,000 that comes in and we'll keep the bar. So, today it's really become, you can work at a club and just at a hotel lobby and just play piano and do songs. So I think people come to Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp, they all take that great experience that they learn and they try to use it and try to make some money with it, teach lessons and open a music school. So no, it's really fun.
Now, tell me a little bit more about the rock camp and everybody else listening here, because you get major rock stars. We're talking about like rock and roll Hall of Fame people from, Kiss and Alex Cooper and Judas Priest and Sammy Hagar and all classic, like just awesome rock and roll stars. I'm assuming, like I said, people need to know how to play an instrument and need to have some dollars for this. But tell me, what's the experience like, and what type is kind of the ideal person that has the most fun and is the best
The ideal
camp
person,
member?
the member is usually someone who was in high school or college and they were in a band and they wanted to, make it become a professional musician, but they had no choice. They had to go get a real job. Someone got pregnant, someone got married, not necessarily that order, but they had to get a real job. And deep inside, they really wanted to be that rock star. What would it be like if I could have been in Alice Cooper's band? What would it have been like if I could play with Joe Perry and been in Aerosmith? As opposed to these artists who made the decision, I'm going to go for it and I'm going to take a chance and I'm not going to have any money, or I'm going to starve, or I'm going to make it big. And I think the passion that took them to that next level, and their talent too. So here's an opportunity for you to really rub shoulders with these musicians. You get mentored by, there's so many great touring musicians who take on a band. I place you in a band for 4 days. And you're gonna work hard. You're gonna go from 10 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock at night. Your finger's gonna hurt. You're gonna feel like we feel when we go on tour, and that's a tough feeling. It's a fun feeling.
Yeah, I think that sounds like a blast. I can't think of a better way to spend 4 days and stuff. Especially,
Yeah,
I think a lot of people discovered in the pandemic, right, that it's real easy to get burned out and bored and to sit at home and feel frustrated and feel like you're not living a purpose or having any kind of playful time. That this is a chance to disconnect from all of that political BS, your work, your bills, everything else, and just go have fun and like live the dream for 4 days. That feels so powerful to me.
Mike, I cannot tell you. I love your podcast because I love you talking about being a human being after the age of 35, 40. Go have fun. Go have fun. It's people are in the rut. They're unhappy. They hate their jobs. And here's an opportunity for you to go away for 4 days, like Tony Robbins says, and you can put yourself in that experience and really get the dream. And I think what's been amazing has been really that I've been around for 25 years is, as you can see in the movie Rock Camp, it's the rock stars who love it because it reminds them what it was like when they first started. And they want to give back, and they really want to give these other musicians an opportunity to go have fun, what they've been experiencing. So when I asked Jeff Beck, I said, Jeff, why did you do my camp? He said, the business has been so good to me. I just felt it was something I wanted to give back. And here was an opportunity to give back to musicians and beginners. You don't have to be an advanced, it's a beginner. The biggest problem we have at camp is people scared. Oh, I'm going to play. I'm not going to be as good as. And we've tried to break down that barrier. We do master classes, advanced. These rockers are there to make your life easier. And I get it. Trust me, I get it because I was scared to go to Michael Jordan fantasy camp.
Mm-hmm. No, so I got to imagine you see the widest range of emotions, from like tears to just joy and elation, and people laughing so hard that they're crying and things too. When you get an experience like this, I may wonder, maybe just from your perspective, it looks like you got some cool toys too, right? You got guitars and you got memorabilia and stuff, but I feel like so much of our society is built around things and like, oh, if I just get a nicer car, it'll make me happier. But I imagine if you spent 1/10 of the money on an experience that powerful, you would be way more happy and have way more important memories for the rest of your life than if you got a new fridge or whatever you were going to spend that money on, right?
You see in the movie, I drive a scooter. All my friends, they got these Mercedes and they got the latest. Here in LA, everyone's got these fancy cars. And I always tell them, okay, I'll meet you at the corner of Beverly and Highland, and I'll race you to Beverly Hills, and I'll beat them there because they can't go anywhere in the traffic. So I'm a plain guy. Roger Dolce is one of my idols, and he wears a pair of jeans, and he's really a down to earth guy. He's into charities. He's into doing good. You know, all that wealthy, all that stuff, the fancy houses, it really doesn't buy you happiness. But if you can pick up a guitar and you can record a song and you can have an experience, I mean, that's something that's priceless. And you know, and Rock Camp gives that to people. And you know, now we got a women's camp only for women only. We're doing a songwriting camp. I'm so excited to announce it for April with Desmond Child. How many people, you don't have to have, you don't have to know how to sing, but you wanted to always write a song. Here's an opportunity to immerse yourself for 4 days with the greatest songwriters in Nashville, and they will work with
Wow.
you on, you know, recording one of your songs and eventually writing it and making it successful. So I am totally into playful humans. I think people should play. I think they should have fun, and they should get out of their day-to-day rut. And I think that's why Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp has been a life-changing experience.
So I want to ask you a lot about like how you even got this started, but you just produced a whole movie about it. So I feel like people can go to rockcampthemovie.com and hear the whole story. But instead, tell me about how the movie came to be, because that seems like a different departure from, you know, what you're normally doing, but it's an amazing story.
Well, thank you. You know, Jeff Rowe and Doug Blush. Doug Blush produced the film 20 Feet from Stardom. Jeff Rowe was one of the heads of VH1 for many years. And they approached me because they wanted to do the story of Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp. And, you know, for me, I decided, how many times you go to a movie and you watch a trailer and you get so disappointed when you've watched a movie because the trailer is so amazing. Well, Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp is the same thing. The camp is so amazing that you can't tell the story in a 30-second advertisement coming live, Joe Perry. You know, you really want to
Mhm.
show the emotion of the camp. So that's when I agreed to do the film. And they did a great job. It took them 5 years. I mean, these
Wow.
films, it's the hardest thing to make. You know, they went through 90 terabytes of footage, 25 years of footage. The rockers all did the interviews. I thought they were great. I think you get to see someone like Sammy Hagar, Nancy Wilson, Gene Simmons, Paul Stanley in some way that you've never seen them before. So down to earth, Roger Daltrey, and so many more. And I think that's what makes the film so great. And I'm hoping so that if you really want to know, the biggest goal for me was that I wanted people, not just musicians, but anybody at any age. You're 40, you 50, you came up with the idea to do to do an app. You came up, you want to do something new, and you're not. People are scared to do it. These people pick up their instrument, and they do it. You can do it.
Yeah, I'm wondering what you think, because you've seen this on so many times, and I've seen it a lot up close too, and the stuff that I do, from game shows to karaoke and public speaking, motivational speaking. What do you think the difference is between people that dream about it and the ones that actually do this and play for a living? What do you think the biggest difference is?
Oh, I just think the fear factor. People are scared.
Mm.
People are scared now. Whether they got that fear from their parents who told them you'll never make it, or you'll never be good enough, or I'm scared to do something. You know, I have a daughter of mine, Alana Molstein, and her name is Nutrition Babe on TikTok. She's got 1,000,005 followers. She's one of the leading nutritionists in the business of works for a company called Beachbody. And
Oh yeah.
she changes lives of people. And here's someone who was working for me. She was doing a great job as sales. And she came to me one day. She said, Dad, I studied to be a nutritionist. I want to change people's lives, especially teenagers. She lost 100 pounds. And today she built herself up to be so huge. So she's not scared. And then I got a nephew of mine who, you know, wants to be, you know, who hates his job every day. He's telling me, I hate my job. I hate my job, you know. And I said, find something that's passionate. What's passionate? He said, oh, I love the stock market. So I finally convinced him, quit your job and trade stocks and do something that you love in your life. So, you know, here you have two different people. So many people are in terrible jobs. They hate it. And then you have people that go with your passion. Now, last year, we did during COVID 160 master classes. Britt Lightning from Vixen, she was my hostess. And we interviewed Roger Daltrey, the world Sticks. We interviewed all these major stars. And you know what we found? That passion is what made them all so successful.
Mm. You know, there's a great quote, and I forget who said it now, but they say that most often it is not the decision that makes a project successful, it's the decision maker, right? That when you decide and you get 100% committed to something, you make it work, even if it was a bad decision at the beginning. But if you make a good decision and you half-heartedly pursue it, it's going to fail, right?
If you don't get up to play, if you don't get up to the plate, you're never going to get a hit. So it's really simple. You got to make the move. Make a move. Tony Robbins says, make a move. And I think that people should find their passions. They should find, doing what they want to do. I mean, I've always, if I see a seminar or something I want to do, I did a thing called the Hoffman Institute to change my life. I go do it, and I'm not scared. And I think like Gene Simmons says in the movie, fear is really the biggest the biggest problem.
Yeah.
But people should become playful. But number one, they're going to extend their life. They're gonna get, where are all these illnesses? They come from stress, cancer, all that stuff a lot of it is stress related. So if people can be playful and have fun, why not? You don't just have to be a kid to be playful.
Oh, I mean, the research, David, is insane. You smile more, you weigh less, you're healthier, your brain makes more connections, is actually bigger, you have more sex, you make more money. It's ridiculous, the benefits of playing and enjoying your life, being fully engaged. Like,
I'm going to see a comedian tonight. There's a guy named Modi. He makes me laugh. He's here in Los Angeles at the Laugh Factory. I'm going to go out and see him because why not? Why not go have fun? Last night I went to a Lakers Celtic game. You know what? I took my grandson. It was fun. I went Sunday to see. I drove to. I went to see the Oakland Raiders. I was going to fly to Vegas, and the flight was canceled. The fog. I rented a car. I made the game. I believe it. I took my son with me. I love surrounding myself around kids. I have grandkids. I got 8 grandkids. I got 5 of my own children. I just think it's important to be playful. And I think, and again, I get to offer that dream. I get to change people's lives every day.
So tell me about the other side of this, because you also see the rock stars. And what I found is sometimes when people take their passion and they make it into a job, they lose the fire for that. Or when somebody starts paying you for it, it's no longer a hobby, it's a job. And so I don't know that many people are that worried about it, but maybe they're in their job that they love, that they dreamed about, whatever, being in the stock market when they were 5 years old, and they were pretending, and now they're doing it, but they're burnt out because they lost the fire and the passion for it. What do you say for people like that?
That's a great question, because so many of the rockers, have told me that the camp really invigorated them to start playing their music and enjoy the music, because it got to be a business. Nancy Wilson says in the film, she says, one of the cuts, she said, when we started playing, it was about music. And then it became, once we got successful, it became about lawyers, agents, managers, and all these things. And we lost the passion of, you lose what it's really about. And that's why she loves rock camp, is pure music. And Rudy Sarzo, he says in the film too, I got my love to come back and play through rock camp. You're absolutely right. People, once they come into the business, it becomes business. And what's interesting, many people can't write those songs anymore that they wrote when they were writing those passionate, look at the Beatles. I mean, you watch that Disney Plus, it was awesome to see John Lennon but we basically see that those guys are burnt out, except McCartney. He's so enthusiastic. He's still writing songs. He wrote Hey Jude. He wrote those songs with passion. But once the other guys started, becomes business, or they get angry at each other, then, George Harrison quits the Beatles in the middle of Disney Plus. I mean, does the guy hate his, can you imagine George Harrison doesn't like his job anymore? And, he started not liking
I mean, when you see
job.
the way they were living and what they were required to do and what it's like every day, eventually you only need so much money, or, so many fans. Right. You're like, yeah, I don't need this headache. I got $1 million in the bank. What am I doing this?
Right.
Crazy shenanigans for, right?
So even these people that are so successful, they, see George Harrison walk away from the Beatles on Disney Plus, and then these guys have to convince him to come back. really answers your question, you know?
Yeah. I think that's amazing. Now, what about for you personally? We've talked a little bit about, you know, how you play in your career and how you got into this, but what do you do outside of this just for fun? What does fun look like, or what's the most fun you've ever had?
So I do Pilates. You know, I was doing Pilates 3 times a week. It was amazing. And then I hurt myself. I just had rotator cuff surgery because I fell off my little scooter but that was my mistake. But no, but well, whether it wasn't my mistake, it was someone else's mistake, but I fell off my scooter. But anyways, I'm going to get back on, you know, and I like Pilates. I like playing basketball. I love dedicating myself to my kids and my grandkids, and you know, games they want to play, and events they want to go to, and whether it's shopping or playing ball, or you know, it's really different now in my career because you know, when I was representing all these athletes and these rock stars and producing big shows, I really wasn't present because you know, the kids would say to me, Dad, and I might be thinking about, you know, I got Ringo Starr doing a tour this week and it's starting, and I really couldn't focus. So that's why I changed my life and said, I'm not going on the road, and I'm going to do the rock camps and give people the pleasures. And I wanted to be present for my kids. And luckily I got 2 teenagers now, as opposed to, you know, I have a daughter, she's 42 with 5 kids. But I found the kids to be more playful and keep me young.
I love that. Now, I'll ask you, older or younger, is there a role model or somebody you think is doing it right? For me, I when I met REO Speedwagon, this was in like 2003 or 5, something like that. And I drove them around for the day. I picked them up at the airport. I was working in radio. I took them to Royal Stadium to sing the national anthem, then to some radio and TV interviews, and then to their concert at the venue. And they were just like the coolest people. They were really grateful. They didn't have any
Oh,
crazy riders. They were like, we need an apple and a bottle of water. That's all we need. Gave me their cell phone number. And they were just really cool people that I was like, man, I want to have that someday where I'm really appreciating and still loving it. Because I also met like new stars. I won't name them, but you know, a young kid on his first record that's 21 and is like drinking and missing it all and yelling at people and being a total prima donna. And you're like, oh, I don't want to do that at all. Do you have a story or person that comes to mind that you think, wow, they really get it?
you know, Kevin, you know, the leader of REO Speedwagon, you know, he's an amazing guy. You know,
Yeah,
he's a grateful person, sweet guy. I mean, he's so successful. I mean, the songs that he's written and his
unbelievable.
band, the band. I mean, they're amazing. Listen, all those artists that come to my rock and roll fantasy camp, and you can see, you go to the website rockcamp.com, you'll see from Joe Perry, any of those people, right away, you know, they're smart. They got because they are passionate. They want to give back. Their egos aren't. I'm not gonna. Sure, I'll play with these people. I can offer so much more to them. You know, sure, you're gonna get those young rockers. Those, oh, I'm gonna play with an amateur. Well, you know, those people. You know those aren't my. That's not my type of rock star. I like someone who wants to be playful and have fun and realizes every note. You know, Roger Daltrey's so cool in the film. He says it's about having fun, and he's gotten it. You know, he to me he gets it of all the rockers out there. He's got a
That's
charity,
cool.
Teenage Cancer America. He's giving back all the time. He's playing arenas, playing stadiums. He just to me he's got it all.
Awesome. Now, I'm sure Rock Camp is on the bucket list for thousands of people out there. What is on your fun bucket list? What would you most like to accomplish
Well, I'm
before you
love.
kick it?
Yeah, no, that's great. I think I've honestly making the film, and you know, toward the last year, they basically said, David, stay out of the kitchen, let us make the film. So that was, I tell you, that was really fun. I want to do a comedy series on Rock Camp. I got some great stuff coming up.
Oh,
We made a deal with Fox recently, and they're going to try to write one. I've really been able to accomplish representing as a sports agent. I had many players in the Super Bowl, won Major League Baseball, you know, World Series. You know, I think maybe be a comic, you know, but I'm not sure I really
yeah.
want to do that. Um, I
I don't know that I
really,
want to be a comic, but I do need to try stand-up comedy,
yeah, stand
but
up
before I
comedy,
kick it,
but
I
you
need to do
know,
it.
I get to lead my bucket list every day, you know,
That's
and
awesome.
it's something I want to do, someone I want to meet. This year I spent the summer, I went to Israel. I got to meet the prime minister. I got to really, you know, really see the country like I've never seen it before. So, I mean, I think this, when I have a passion, when I have a bucket list, I go for it.
Don't wait. No,
I
that's
don't wait.
awesome.
Life is too short.
It's great advice. So speaking of which, do you want to play a game?
Yeah, let's play a game.
All right, we're spinning our wheel of games. There's 10 games that it could land on, and you got Survey Says. Survey Says, you've probably seen, we surveyed 100 people. You got to guess one of the top answers that they came up with for this question. So question number one is, based on how much you use it, what do you consider the greatest invention ever?
Wow. Say that again.
Based on how much you use it, what would you consider the greatest invention ever?
My soda stream.
There you go. That's a great answer.
Yeah, my coffee, my
telephone and electricity and TV are the top ones on the answer there. But I like yours. The soda stream is great. Okay, now this is an interesting one. Where might a school bus take a student besides school?
Oh, to a sporting event.
Yeah, that's on the top one. Home is the one that everybody misses. Take it home, and then a museum or a field trip on there as well. All right, last one.
Okay,
here we go. Name a gift from their husbands that wives sometimes have to pretend to like. What gift around the holidays or something do wives have to pretend to like from their husbands?
Oh, wow. A vacuum cleaner.
Oh, a vacuum cleaner is a great answer and a bad gift. Appliances, number two answer. Clothes or shoes was number one. Jewelry or watch, number three. And then somehow candy or chocolate made the list, which I don't know why you would have to pretend.
Yeah, it's just chocolate. I have to write. Whatever.
You did it. You nailed it. 2 out of 3. You win. Free 30-second commercial here. What, any asks or gives for the audience? How can we help you?
Oh, wow. We'll go to rockcamp.com and mention Playful Humans. Sign up for a camp. And I'm going to send you a new t-shirt. I never do that to anybody. I'll send you a t-shirt or a Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp book. I wrote a book many years ago, and I just found about 20 copies that are left called Rock Your Business. I'll send them a free signed copy of the book.
Hey, that's awesome. I love that. I'll check that one out myself for sure. David, I appreciate it so much. David Fishof, founder of the Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp, rockcamp.com, and the new movie out anywhere you watch movies. Go check it out. Amazon, Google Play, all that kind of stuff. $4. You can watch Rock Camp, the movie, and see some rock and rollers having fun, and an opportunity that you could do the same thing. Check something off your bucket list this year. Go to rockcamp.com. If you want to discover more ways to be a more playful human and rediscover the power of play, go to playfulhumans.com and hit the quiz button there.
Don't wait for tomorrow. Live for today. Keep on chasing the sunshine and go out and play.
Go play, everybody.